The
That's just
life
more
of
who
a
I am.
dad.
I think it's just more who I am. I don't know. I just don't like, I don't make, yeah.
I love
I don't know.
it.
I probably wish I did, because I kind of envy some of the people that are like, when I was 20, I decided that I was going to do this by that and whatever. And I was just like, I was pretty chill when I was 20.
Mhm.
Like, I wasn't really putting a lot of pressure on myself to.
I told my son that today. I'm like, no one has it figured out, sweetheart. Like literally, at 27, you don't have to know any of the things. Like it's fine. It's perfectly fine. You're fine.
Yeah.
You're fine. Everybody's fine. All right. How do I share this? Copy.
Well, or at least you're better off than just about everybody else on the planet.
Yeah.
Like you can be a confused, poor American and you're still like sitting pretty.
Yeah.
Sitting pretty. Like, you could, yeah, you could have no direction whatsoever and still like be in America and just, man, be a great place to be.
How are
Mhm.
people so hateful about this beautiful place?
Because they
Ah.
don't, yeah, because
They
it's
choose
been
to
a
focus
long
on the
time.
negative.
I think there's something about like, people in America will say things like worried about grocery bills and all that stuff, but like, there's very few people in America that are going to starve, that are really going to starve to death or really like there's so many safety nets. Um,
I hope you're right.
obviously some of them are very,
Flimsy.
well, I was going to say like embarrassing and,
Uh-huh.
your pride's going to go out the door. You know what I mean? But like,
Hmm.
there's very few people starving to death, like literally starving to death in America in 2024. That's a hard, like, you got to want to starve to death or have a horrible mental affliction. I don't, I should
They
probably,
force you to starve to
I
death.
was starting to go off. I was starting to like get into this, like, I know what I'm talking about.
Your starvation
Uh,
tangent
I
that
was
you
like, I
usually
feel
go
like there
on.
are some really hungry people in our country.
Yeah.
but you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, they're also prideful. There's a lot of hungry, prideful people.
Now
Yeah, I
there's a
mean
combo.
there are definitely resources, I feel like for
Hmm.
sure. But
There's a lot of,
also
a lot of,
also it's crazy that it's like people who are working full-time jobs and they still can't afford to feed their families. Like that's the real conversation that people don't want to have, right?
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Um, Again, like those types of situations are a little bit voluntary because you decided to have a family. So, but I don't know,
Sure.
like young college kids, it's like, yeah, man, I had like
Yeah.
four
Oh yeah.
fucking roommates, and we turned our dining room of our apartment into like a bedroom somehow for
Yeah.
like a fourth and a half
Extra.
roommate at one point, like,
Yeah.
because we're like, and then like, like each roommate would have a girlfriend or boyfriend, and like, there would be like another, like they'd have their own personal roommate within this
Yeah.
apartment. And it's like,
Have to kick down
but
some resources.
like we were all like, like a couple of us are working full-time jobs, some students, but we're only, having to kick in like $250 a month for rent,
Right.
Yeah.
which is today. And, by today's standards, I mean, even today, like apartments are expensive, but split one with four people and kind of rough it.
Hmm.
I've talked about this before because I remember the OJ trial. Everybody in this goddamn apartment in Towson, Maryland was like not working and like focusing on OJ and horrible. How could this happen?
Yeah.
And I'm just walking out every morning like, there's a lot of
Whoa.
unsolved murder mysteries, everybody. See you later. A lot of ugly people that get murdered every day. No one cares.
Way to look out for the ugly community, Chris.
That's what I was saying. This is not worth your time. Ugly
All
people
right.
get killed all the time.
Go ahead, start recording the
It's
audio.
true. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
All
Yeah.
right.
That's why I always question when there's a new dead white girl or kidnapped white girl, like what are they trying to distract us from? Because it's always something. And then when the Gabby Petito, when she was in the Sandy Hook video, like you even mentioned that and you're a crazy conspiracy theorist, but that really happened. Gabby Petito, the kidnapped white girl,
Yeah. I
that
guess
was a
it just,
distraction for something, was also in the Sandy Hook music video. Like,
I feel like if I was in charge, and I hope to be someday
please.
in charge of the conspiracy department and mind control, but I would do stuff a lot less intricate. You know what I mean?
Intricate.
Like I would just produce some. I wouldn't like have two young crazy kids like meet and go on a road trip and have like fights and like
Yeah.
get stopped by the police and some rant, and then eventually to I would create distractions that are much simpler. But to your point though, like when those things happen randomly. Like it's not like I don't think, like she was in a video and they were like, we gotta set this girl up to be killed later by some nut job.
Listen.
But but to your point though, for real, I'm trying to like bring it back around.
Yeah. Why? Why?
When those random things happen, there is a reason why it becomes a national news story for months at a time. So so I'm
A
saying
white
like,
girl going missing because little brown girls go missing all the time. Like, why did they pick her out of the lineup, right? Of
well,
missing
because
girls
the
on an
majority of
average
America,
day.
because I don't, I mean, I'm not going to get into like racial statistics, but the statistics show that Americans are much more concerned about a little white girl or a white girl missing than a brown girl. That's all.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying
That's the truth.
the people that are, in real control, like they know that. They know
Yeah,
like
for sure.
they know like a missing brown girl's not gonna
What gets
distract
clicks.
America. Like, because there's plenty. They're just like, oh, there's a missing blonde girl that showed up, and let's use that. Let's play that on CNN like for months.
Yeah. Scares more
Well, not and
lives.
it's not, and it's like not even because it takes up all the airspace, because it takes up 30% of it.
Yeah.
And that's good enough. That's good enough
Sure.
because we'll fill the other 30% with weather.
Yeah. Traffic.
Like there's floods over here, there's earthquakes over there, there's rains, there's monsoons somewhere. Let's show weather stuff because the people love that.
Yeah.
And then we'll show you a little bit about World War III happening right now. And then we'll throw you a little few news stories about, $3 billion of weapons going to Israel, or, $100 billion of weapons going to Ukraine.
I'm telling you that
After we talk about Gabby Petito.
Well, let's get the show
Yeah.
on the road then.
Okay.
Before we do all that. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
I knew that was coming. Good evening, Endless Ranters. Welcome back for episode 200 that snuck up
Yay.
on us of your Endless Ranters podcast. We do what we want, and we appreciate your support. My name's Chris. I'm an online bullying and harassment survivor. I sometimes have to think about it because of the trauma. I don't want to say it wrong. Traumatized myself.
Yeah,
And,
you have.
A victim of, survivor of online violence as well,
Mhm.
amongst other things. Also survivor of ungrateful kids, whatever you want to call it. And I'm one of your hosts for this evening. I'm joined by my other host. It's Quana. It's a soggy mom living in a crunchy mom's world. How you doing, Quana?
I am good. Happy to be here. 200.
200. Yeah, it did really sneak up on us. I thought about episode 200 last week and then forgot.
Yeah.
And then
What
Manny
we-
said 200 like 10 minutes ago and brought it all back.
What
Speaking
would
of
you-
that, it's producer Manny, everybody. What's going down, well, man?
I'm doing my best not to fall out of coconut trees, Christopher, to be honest with you.
You should.
My health insurance, it does okay, but I'm not trying to push my luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's a definite falling out of a coconut tree clause.
Mhm.
What was it? What did he?
But if
what in the
Kamala
hell
gets
was
into
that even?
office, I think she's gonna fix that coconut tree problem, right?
That was what her mom, like, I think that speech was in her mom. She said her mama used to say that. That was a saying her mama used to have. Don't fall out of like, you think you just fell out of a coconut tree or something? I don't know.
I've heard it. No, I've heard that. I've heard that.
I'm sure someone said it at some point.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of coconut trees in the world, a lot of kids being raised around them,
Yeah, for
but
sure.
I'm not sure. Yeah, she's something else.
She's brat, bro. Kamala is total brat.
She's brat.
What is that?
Brat
What
girl
is that?
summer.
I don't know what that means.
I'm surprised I even know about this shit. That just shows you how much YouTube I've been watching lately.
Is there a song called Brat or something? Is there a Taylor Swift song called Brat, or maybe a Megan Thee Stallion
I was
song
gonna
called
say,
Brat?
I think it's an album, right?
no,
Or is it a
Sexy
song?
is it Sexy Red? Maybe.
No, I think it's like when when they declared like hot girl summer, they've declared like they declare something for every summer. This is like brat girl summer. So like a
Oh,
brat, think of what a brat is. Like a brat, like
so these
she's
are
she's in her
so these
brat
are
era, I
So,
think.
so these are
so
I mean,
this
I
these are
live in
things
my
start.
brat era, so
So this is something that is going around amongst the teenage girl scene.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's been
It's an
adopted by them.
online
Okay.
space. Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Okay,
an
but
album
so not
by an artist named Charlie XCX,
but
and
not grown-ups, or is it also is
I
this grown
don't think
up?
it's grown-ups. I
well,
really
I think
don't.
the grown-ups are trying to glom onto it just because it's it's what's happening, it's hip, and they're
I
trying
have
to
heard this. I've seen this
piggyback
like
up on
Brat
that.
and with like Kamala or something, but I've only seen a couple of those where it seemed like someone was trying really hard to connect something that wasn't going to work. I
I
don't
think
know.
she declared it like early. It's so crazy because last week, like, she wasn't the nominee. And then, like, this whole week has just been, right?
Surprise!
Well, a month ago, yeah. I mean, it really is. I mean, again, I was telling you
I think
guys
it's been
today.
7 days that she's like, they've made this whole thing like she's like this hero of the world. It's just so weird. So
Yeah, it's
weird.
fascinating. It really. I told you guys today. I'm kind
Superwoman.
of, you know, who I want to vote for, who I want to win, but I'm also kind of slipping into this is just fascinating
It's so,
that like a month ago, like literally a month ago, people were talking about Kamala Harris and her unfavorability ratings, and they were talking
yeah.
about how much of a problem she was. They were talking about how our president was brain dead, but he couldn't drop out because Kamala would have to take the place because
Yes.
they couldn't knock her out. And like, there was like a bad thing. And they were just like really talking about her like if she wasn't even human.
Yeah.
Like she's just like a number,
Like
like
she's
a
a
starting.
lizard person.
No, or like
Oh,
she's like a second string linebacker for a team that like, you know, maybe can play, maybe can handle it, but maybe can't.
Right.
Um, but no one has any faith in. But then all of a
mhm.
sudden she's like up for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And it's really fascinating because it
Oh,
just is. It really is. And I look at those things through I look at what's happening now and how fast people can just glom on or something.
it's a
And I think about,
machine.
man,
The words are even
well,
the same. It's like, it's weird.
but I think about like, was it like it's 2024? Like, think about how easy it would have been to like be in charge in like 1500s. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that all, you know, like, you know, you might get speared in the face, you know, but like, is it that easy to manipulate people? Like,
Yes.
I mean, it must have been so easy back before people understood what the hell, how rain worked.
Yeah.
Like before people knew what gravity was. I mean, it must have been so easy to just do whatever you wanted with people to build pyramids and temples and great things when you could just make people think anything
Well,
Mm.
in
I
a
think that
month's
that's,
time, even with like in 2024, with people being going to schools for 12, 16 years, like being taught things, reading books, like having access to so much information, people are still so easily fooled. It's really man, it's amazing. So yeah.
I think that's why it's so hard to stomach, maybe for some people, because like if you've ever been in a relationship where someone lies to you, like once you've had like this huge lie had upon you, like you're just like, wow, like you have to question every single other thing. So I think like accepting any lie, if it's the COVID lie, or if it's the JFK lie, or if it's the fucking moonwalk lie, whatever the fucking lie that they're talking about, like if you accept one of them,
You accept all of them.
no, then you have to question every other thing, right?
Mm.
If this is what you've been fed, if this is what you learned in the eighth grade. Rosa Parks' husband had a fucking car.
Well, yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying there. I would
Right?
on the Rosa Parks, I'd say people should understand that story more. I don't think it's a great I don't think it flips the story upside down that her husband had a car because like, you know, like he had to go in another direction for work and she had to go in another direction for work and that was how things were. Um and it's like so instead of taking the bus and having a decent seat on the bus, her husband they were supposed to just get up 2 hours earlier and drive and like use more gas. Like so I don't really understand how that but I think to your point, I think it like people should be encouraged to learn the full story of Rosa Parks because they should know that there were other women that were, or African Americans that were uh, prohibited from getting in the good seats on the bus,
I got no
and
coverage.
and the
Even her stories of
NAACP and
Malcolm
all
X.
the lawyers didn't want to, kind of passed on them.
Right.
And then they found Rosa Parks, who was like actually a very classy woman, I guess, and from a good family, and like would look good on camera.
Right.
We're just talking about the same thing. Yeah. I mean, it's like people can be, I don't know that
Manipulated to
Rosa
think whatever they
Parks,
tell us to think.
I don't see the Rosa Parks as like a trick though. I see that as like people being very smart in how to make a wrong a right. And they realized we're not going to fix the bus problem with a country bumpkin, right? Who curses all the time or whatever, who hasn't
Sure.
bathed.
So we got an image to uphold here.
We need to find a person that dresses properly and has respect for herself and doesn't beclown herself, and and can conducts herself in a standard way for our society. And man, I guess I wish it's like we kind of wish for that now, don't we?
Yeah.
Because everybody's like showing up to court in fucking jumpsuits and mouthing off at everybody. It's like
It's the Wild
like
West.
what was I think I was talking about that a couple weeks ago. I was talking about like we were talking about the when schools were integrated and like some of those scenes from that. Her name is drawing a blank now, but like back in the 50s and 60s in the civil rights movement, and everybody was wearing suits and ties,
Yeah.
like button down shirts.
Right.
Even the people that were getting like hosed water cannon were like wearing
For
slacks and
Yeah.
dress shoes and button down shirts.
Yeah.
And had like
Politeness, dress was part of your like being polite. Like you
and obviously
wouldn't
it
show
didn't.
up somewhere dressed not right. Right.
And the tragedy of it is like, dressing like everyone didn't protect you from being, horribly treated. But it's
Right.
like but there was like a commonality, like a common thing where it's like pull up your pants,
Yeah.
wear a belt, tuck your shirt in.
Yeah.
Didn't really matter what color you were or where you came from. It was like that was the same.
Yeah. It was a sign of
And now it's
respect.
like, fuck you.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't even, like it's disrespectful even tell me that to give me that advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Lizzo, perfect example. It used to, whatever. People were modest, way less
Yeah,
modest.
that's kind of you two know. Yeah, that kind of the Lizzo thing in the Ozempic is a weird cultural phenomenon that needs to be studied
Yeah.
because it's like she became huge. Stop, Manny, stop. She became huge, like and like so
I
popular,
do.
and it was like body positivity and all that stuff. But then it's like,
Yeah.
and then right about this at the height of her fame, and it's just a coincidence. They were also like uncovering all these drugs that would just make you start dropping weight,
Yeah.
like and with zero effort,
Yeah.
with a copay and no effort.
Yeah.
And it was
Yep.
like, oh, really?
It's so wild.
And now she's
It's
not as popular anymore. I don't know.
Well, maybe she still is as popular, but
Or it's
just
like
they're not.
it kind of takes the air out of that, doesn't it? It kind of takes the air out of that
the people are
balloon.
seeking that shot so hardcore, but they're
Yeah,
also
it's
in the
like you
same
can't
breath saying, like, this is so
you can't
magical, like be
yeah,
your
you
big
can't
best self.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can't see her on Jimmy Kimmel Live and like him fawning all over her, and then like then they cut the commercial and it's an Ozempic commercial
Yeah.
with people
Yes.
showing people really, really happy about not looking like not yeah.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. That's a real mind fuck for society, I would say.
For
Yeah.
some reason, it feels like there's no problem speaking out of both sides of their mouths on most every topic. It's weird.
I think there are some people that speak out of both sides of the mouth, but there's also some people that are legitimately confused by the winds, the which way the winds are
Maybe.
blowing. The winds are
Sure.
blowing like just eat up,
Yeah.
sweetheart. And then the next thing it's like take this shot, sweetheart. look at the lady in this ad that's so happy. Just take the
Yeah.
shot. Take the
Mhm.
shot. It's $10 copay.
I don't know why anybody lets the government inject you with anything. I'm good. I'm good. Quit
Well, I'd say
putting
there's like a
shots in
there's
my
kind of a
body.
yeah, there's kind of a like a natural human thing to be like, I want to look like everybody else kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's all. I mean, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's just a natural
Well, I
thing.
mean,
Like,
and that was like why Lizzo was celebrated, though. It was like, hey, we're gonna accept everybody as it is, which I appreciate. I really, really do appreciate
until
like
there's a pill.
bold girls. Exactly, exactly. But women that just like celebrate their body regardless of the size. I was raised with a mom that was like always told me I was fat, like just like put all these thoughts in my head about weight and food and things like that. Like they would call her an almond mom now, but
What I find
like,
Trusting
attractive is
almond
just
mom.
like I find attractive authenticity.
yeah,
Like if you're celebrating something about yourself that's really weird or different, and it's more of like a coping mechanism for you to
yeah,
like deal with the fact that you're weird and different or whatever, then
yeah,
that's not authentic. That's a weird thing that troubles me. And I want you to
right,
get help and I want you to kind of get better about that. But like, and then there's people that like really believe it.
yeah,
There's people that are just like, look at me, fuck you, I don't care. And they really
yeah,
don't care. And I'm just like, I like that. I like that about you.
yeah,
I like an authentic smile,
like
like
me.
whatever you are. Yeah.
Don't
And like
care.
you're just genuinely happy, like genuinely smiling. And not
Yeah,
like, and it's not, you're not just like doing some weird coping, like, I don't know. It's just, there's a, you can, people know what I'm talking about. Like there's a weird energy where you know it's authentic and where you know it's like a cope.
interesting.
Like where like you're not really okay with who you are. You're actually
Right,
really angry that society doesn't accept you for who you are. And
right.
your way to deal with that is to like be kind of nasty about saying that you're okay with it, but you also act real hateful. Like I don't know. Maybe I'm not explaining it that great, but
No, I understand what you're saying, and I understand. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Women are
So what else
hateful.
is
That's just like I think the bottom line. We'll just leave it there. We're angry.
I don't know.
We're angry on every level.
Why
The
are bitches
ones,
so angry?
yeah, yeah,
I don't know, but there is groups of people out there that do seem to encourage people to be angry or unhappy or depressed and just like join the club, join the depression club,
yeah.
you know? And
Not to be
I get
confused with
why
the Breakfast
people,
Club.
yeah, I get why people are like would rather just kind of join that club of misery than get help or whatever, or even maybe take a pill. Just like it's easier just to kind of be like, yeah, the world is against us.
Right.
Yeah,
Hey,
everything is
Yeah.
shitty or everything is terrible and capitalism and blah 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 blah. And
Yeah.
yeah,
It's also temporary. Like, yeah, I think people are just like it's the collective to be something has shifted and it's shifted in the last week and a half. But there is something that's shifted where
are we talking about that earthquake that happened?
no, I'm not. I'm talking about like our friends that are just like drawing a line in the sand. Like, we will not be friends with people who support a rapist or all the things. Like, it's so
Right.
weird. It's so weird when
yeah.
it's just literally politics. Like, all of it is just politics, right?
That said, it's like if someone doesn't want to be friends with me, it's like
Okay.
okay.
Right. You're an
Like,
adult, go do your own
ooh,
thing.
yeah, that's really like a nothing. That's a zero on the Richter scale,
Yeah.
earthquake wise. Like I'm kind of like that problem solved.
Maybe as a girl, it's different. Maybe it's like triggering on some level, like to see my friends like being so like, who cares? Like, I don't care. I don't
Mhm.
I think in
care.
general, just like male and female biology, and then I talk about humans, like is like males are more like don't like I'm okay on my own, and women are more like I need to be in a pack.
Yeah,
I'm not even
maybe.
saying that's a bad thing. That's just
No,
like a
no, no, for
natural,
sure.
like if you're, I mean, if there's a creature on the earth and there's a male and a female and the male is bigger and the female is smaller, there's going to be kind of a mentality of like the
Yeah,
smaller versions need to stick together more and the bigger versions don't worry about sticking together as much. So
right, for sure. Yeah,
I think there is like a natural way that males and females like kind of navigate life. Many overcome it. A lot of people are getting real stuck in it. I think because they have like there's a lot of idle time, a lot of downtime. There's like a biblical saying for that. Like,
Oh yeah, idle
um,
time makes for the devil's playground or whatever it
yeah, I
is.
mean, people look at
idle
that phrase
hands.
and like
Yeah,
yeah, they look at that in like a bit like a Christian or biblical or religious term, and it's like off-putting, but it's like, no, man, no. Like, look at
really.
your kids. Look at your
Yeah,
kids. When people have free time, and they're not
yep,
like goal oriented and not even like not like talking about like big life, but like goal oriented, like got to be here, got to be at this workplace between 9 and 5
yep,
Monday, Monday to Friday. Like when people aren't like kind of in that
Hmm.
and they're idle, like some people invent computers in their garage.
sure. But
Some
they're not being
people,
idle. They're not
right? But
idle.
yeah, but
They're
some
also,
people, yeah, some people that moment of idleness like sparks creativity. Some people like just
yeah,
it just starts to um, devolve into something really bad.
yeah,
Whether they get into like they just start playing video games all the time, or porn, or fighting with people online about politics,
Christopher.
or you know what I mean. Like, but like people
So,
find things that are not productive to occupy those hands.
yeah,
So, and that's another reason. I mean, I like the Bible because it's like you don't necessarily have to be religious to understand that message that a lot of
It's just
problems in this
in.
world come from people with too much time on their hands
yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of
and
lessons in there that
nothing to
are
do.
very, yeah,
Yeah,
very useful, especially if you're raising a child,
for sure.
in my opinion. Is this a Bible
And
podcast now? Love
for
it.
real, man, I never
It is,
thought that
yes. It's
Chris
the
would be such a
federal,
Bible thumper.
but I mean that's like
I'm
it's a theme. Like people throw that out 100
just
like
kidding, by the way.
just throw it all. Yeah, I know, but like other people throw it out. It's like there's nothing in the Bible that's true. It's all a lie. It's like,
Yeah,
okay, idiot. It's like that.
it's
Okay, 12
fine.
year old, because that's the kind of stuff my son says. Like, you never let me have anything. It's like, okay,
Right.
like
Yeah.
you don't. Do you know what the word never means? Do you know what the word all means? Do you know what the word everything means? Like, and 12-year-olds don't.
No, 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 no.
But so, eventually you mature and you're just like, well, maybe there's something to that. Like, even if it was written by a human or whatever, but
Mhm.
Yeah.
there sure is something to that. And I'm glad that someone codified that little lesson to be
Yeah.
passed down for 2000 years. Cause I think it's done some good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
It's
good
so
lesson to like
weird how it's been pushed
keep your
out,
kids
though.
busy. Like
Yeah.
if you keep your kids busy, they don't start smoking weed with their, deviant friends. Or there's a lesser chance, if you keep your
Yeah.
kids in sports and like playing sports all the time, like there's a yeah,
If
they're
you
not
have
going to
girls
be
and
kicking
if
around.
you have kids and they aren't in sports, like there's so many lessons to be learned. I mean, listening to an authoritarian figure that tells you what to do. I mean, I think that is a huge part of sports. Like you have to listen to somebody, you have to follow directions, you have to learn a
Yeah.
skill, you have to learn
Teamwork and yeah.
technique, you have to learn how to play with others, you have to learn. It's so important. I don't know how
Yeah. And things aren't
people
going to go your way. Things
a
aren't going to
lot
go
of the
your way all the
time.
time. Yeah.
And you're not going to want to show up, but you have to anyways. Like there's so many lessons,
Yeah.
right? Ugh,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's a big part of like when your kids like, I don't want to go to practice. And then you make them go to practice. And then afterwards, they feel very good about themselves. So
Yeah. My daughter
Okay.
wanted to quit sports every year. She was just like, I don't want to do it again this year. Like, no, like this is like why? What else are you gonna do, right?
I mean, you can't quit all the time, so you at least have to show up so you could, maintain.
I love how it's just me on the screen.
Don't worry out.
Should I show my tits? Just
Sure.
kidding.
I mean, you'll get us kicked off YouTube, but
Just kidding.
oh shit, I should mark
I'm
the
a
time for that, by the
mother.
way. That you are. There we go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I wanted to change up my background a bit
Are
just to
you on the Mississippi Riverboat?
it's the it's the chairs from the event. Yeah. I was out here because I was going over the list and I
Maybe
was just like
this is so good.
I was going over the list and then I was just like, oh
I
yeah,
feel like
since
that should
we're
be our background on our
for
Facebook
the
group.
for the
Yeah.
group.
Yeah.
Yeah, since I was going over the list and I was like, you know what? Let me see what has been going on with this whole thing. And I was reading up an article. They were like they're gonna do like a commemorative a walk to raise awareness
Christopher's,
to
you need to mark the time because when he comes back, I think this is gonna get him. I don't think
yeah.
he's prepared for it. This is so good.
This is just for tonight's episode, by the way.
I love it.
It's
Oh
gonna
my
return to
God.
normal come next week.
The chairs. Oh my God, not the
For real, dude.
chairs. So funny. Well, happy Friday. I love that for us.
Yeah, for real. Oh
Mm.
shit. Shout out to the chat and the YouTube chat.
Yeah, who's on the YouTube chat? You
Well,
got
just
anybody fun?
one of our regulars. Not Monk's not there because he's at a beer festival, as you said, but it's C Dub. He's over here complaining that his stolen Wi-Fi isn't working all that well.
Oh no.
Yeah. You shouldn't be bragging about your stolen Wi-Fi, senor. People don't like stolen Wi-Fi, they don't like stolen valor, they don't like a lot of stealing, so
Exactly.
you gotta
Remember
play it
when you
close
used
to
to
the vest.
steal cable though? Remember when that was a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was harmless.
Yeah, harmless. You say so.
It was a
Yeah.
victimless crime.
Remember the black box?
Mine was tan, the one that we had at our house.
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But they
But I
called
do
it,
remember
did they
I do
call it the black box though? I feel
they
like
just
mine
called
was black though.
they called I think it was just called the black box because by that point it was just like, oh, it's just like it's a bootleg box. So I think it just kind
Yeah.
of regardless of the color again.
Yeah. I've had HBO my whole life, like stolen or otherwise.
By the way, we don't see color here on Endless Ranters. Just to clarify a few things in case anyone's wondering.
What'd you say?
We don't see color here at Endless
Yep.
Ranter.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
all look like a rainbow to me.
Christopher,
Take that in the
Manny's
spirit. Which
Ma-
intended. Yeah, what are you doing out there? You on the river? On a riverboat?
Just for
I
today,
mean,
since
you're in
it's
Montgomery?
just
Oh,
for
we're
tonight.
live on the scene. We're live on the scene.
Yeah, there's a parade going on right now.
Oh,
happy
there's
happy
blood
1 year.
There's blood spatter on that chair, that folding chair.
No, I think that's just people
Swab it.
signing. Is it? No, I don't think it is.
Swab it for DNA.
We'll get Horatio and the team out there. CSI crew.
That was a year
Oh,
ago.
man.
That was incredible. That was really incredible. I wish it really would be celebrated. I don't know.
Oh my
Well,
God, did you love that
they're
Corolla
doing
did
a
his
unity
tribute
walk.
to that he did his tribute to Dave Matthews Band's the 20 year of the
I
Oh, I
was
love
dumping.
that. I love
That
that
was very
story.
scatological. I was honestly surprised that he remembered that. Again, it was because someone else brought it up, right? How is it that
No, I think it was on the agenda to discuss because Orny was taken by it.
Ace may have seen something because there's a lot of people that do that. Like, someone shared in the Ace Hole group that Nick Kroll is also obsessed with it. So
Oh, okay.
Ace may have been reminded about it, but he has talked about it before.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, it's an incredible story to me. Like, I mean, I love this story. Like when
I
they
love
talk
that.
about the infants. There were infants.
And that the guy had previously said before it happened, like, don't open your mouth to get the taste of Chicago.
Yeah.
My favorite part of that is I try to imagine. I meditate and I try to block out everything and I try
No,
to
you don't.
imagine
No, you don't.
the moment. Don't tell me the moment that look. No, the moment that the first mate, when everybody just got splattered with shit and urine too,
Oh, and gray water.
and just
Oh.
just the moment that the first mate was like, no, 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 it's just water. And then like in an instant, like a millisecond, people were just like, this is not water.
Wafted.
And the first mate, he couldn't even like he has to know by the time that word leaves his mouth, he has to
Yeah.
know damn well it's not water.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's like a compulsion there's a compulsion at that moment to be like, don't worry, everybody. That it can't be our worst nightmare, can it? And it's like, it
And when
is.
Dawson said that there it might have been a lawsuit, like it's so crazy. Yeah, it was probably though, if you
Dawson was reading
imagine.
that story. He was reading that story. He said whoever wrote the news article should get a Pulitzer Prize because it was beautifully written. What they were saying said like it was said that there was stunned silence at first. It's like, yes, that's accurate. Like I believe that you're like Mark Twain telling stories right now. 100% there was stunned silence. Broken by the first mate telling everybody it's just
Heads
you just
up.
got splashed by water from above, and the water's brown and chunky and very and smells different.
What about Dawson saying that he could get shat on by fucking Rush? Was it
That
Rush?
was,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
that
too
was
much. That's where they start talking like, no.
diarrhea in his mouth, by the way, to be specific. That was
That's
like,
why
all
like
right, man.
the mistake there was Adam asking the question because
Yeah.
Adam was like, is there anybody you would, it's like, because you ask that question, you think you're joking, but there's going to be one sick bastard that's going to be like, yes.
Yeah.
There's going to be one
Jerry
sick
Garcia
bastard that's like
could
Britney
fully
Spears.
just blow on my face. Yeah.
There's going to be one sick twist that's like Britney Spears.
Hey, man, she is
Like,
toxic, so
yeah, someone that's alive and very capable of doing that type of thing. And like, then you start realizing, no, that person's sick. This is not a joke to that person.
Shout out
They've
to
actually
Rookie
they've
Uncle.
actually thought about this. Like, you don't like the person that answers the question really fast too.
like,
Like,
yeah, you had that answer chambered.
who would you let shit? And they're like, Britney Spears? Like, not even like a one Mississippi, two Mississippi, two Mississippi. Just like they just shout it out. That's a problem.
Yeah. Oh my
I
gosh.
love that story. The first mate telling them it's just water. When he has
Yeah.
eyes, like if you're a first mate of a boat, you're not blind. You're not a blind person. You're not colorblind. You have
Yeah.
perfect vision.
No,
Like you need to be able to
no,
see
for sure.
things.
For sure.
You need to be able to read signs from a distance. Like you need to be able to see things. Like
I feel like though you would think that it wouldn't be someone dumping shit. So you would think that it's someone just dumping water. Like you would
yeah,
think
it's your
like
mind.
your
Like
brain couldn't comprehend that someone was dumping actual shit on just out.
right. No, I get it. Like when it hits your head for the first time, you're just like, what is that? Water? But it only takes a millisecond to realize it's not.
It's like, nope, that's something completely different.
And even I'll go deeper. Like in a millisecond, your brain is like, is that water? Oh my God, I hope it's water. It doesn't smell like water. Please be water. It's just water, right?
Could it be water?
This all happens in like a millisecond.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, I just got shat on.
It's so oh my gosh. Dave Matthews shat. I don't think it takes the sting out of it. I don't think it
Not at
does.
all.
I mean, obviously they
No.
didn't know in the moment it was Dave Matthews shit. And so
Honestly, I
it
wouldn't.
was probably of no relief when they got home and had to wash Dave Matthews shit off their baby that it was Dave Matthews shit. Like it was probably
It's like,
it
of all
didn't
the jam
matter.
bands,
No, man.
to shit on
It
it.
wasn't even like there's it's called the Dave Matthews Band. Okay. There's a band and it's a big band. And there's like 12 dudes and they eat a lot of chicken wings, a lot of fucked up stuff, they're not eating plain
No.
chicken breast and rice.
It was like
Guarantee
98 pounds of shit. I think Ace did the mathematics on it.
At least 30 to 50 or maybe 50 or something like that. But then 50-pound shit, 30-pound urine.
And then gray water.
Oh my God.
And then the gray water's like, yeah, sink stuff. Yeah. I remember that story at the time, like, oh, this is not gonna be good for business. I guess it worked out well that it
How
was
is
really
it
just the
20
bus
years
driver.
ago, though? How is it 20 years ago? I don't think
I-
it's 20 years ago. Because I remember Ace talking about it, and he hasn't even had a podcast for 20 years, right?
Well, technically, he started the
It
radio
was
show
20
in
years
06.
ago. Yeah, he was on air when it happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Radio, you think?
At least maybe MTV. I don't know. I remember when the story happened because it's like people you instantly start thinking like,
August 8th,
I
2004.
cannot believe Dave Matthews, singer songwriter,
Well, Manny, what year
opened
did
that
the Adam
chair.
Carolla
Like,
show start on the podcast? Was it
Well,
2004? No.
no,
What year did he start on the radio? It was 2006, right?
2006. Yeah.
So,
But yeah, it happened on August 8th, 2004. And check this out. Dumped an estimated 800 pounds of human waste from the bus.
yeah, I think they got to the bottom of that on the recent show because 800
Yeah,
pounds is like the maximum capacity
right.
of that. Um, no,
And
no,
here
no.
we are talking
Eight
about
hundred.
it.
No, no. I'm sorry. 800 pounds is the rough
Shit's
math by like a
contagious.
journalist, like a non-RV journalist, saying there's a 100 gallon capacity, and as Ace was saying, like a gallon of water weighs 8 pounds. So if someone
Mm,
was like 100, there's a 100 gallon capacity tank, and they said 800 pounds, but really that 100 gallon capacity is like 30 pounds of or 30 gallons of fresh water, like clean fresh water, 50 pounds of gray water that's like pee, sink water, all that, like 30 pounds of like
mhm.
dookie matter, dookie, pure dookie. So someone like the 800 pounds was kind of a over, but also at the same time, it's like if I just got shat on and you want to try to correct me on the proper weight amount of shit, like you go to hell. You go right to hell.
yeah,
You don't.
fuck
I've
all
been
the way
victim.
off with that
I've been
bullshit.
victimized, and you want to tell me how much I've been victimized? No, you
No,
don't have the
not
right. You
today.
don't have the right to tell me about my victimization.
Or-
Yeah, I would tell my lawyer to like go nuts in the courtroom and during the lawsuit if they try to
Sure.
talk about how it was only 100 pounds of shit and not 800 pounds.
So
Yeah.
listen, we don't have time to be pedantic here. All right.
Like I
Is
think
it
obviously accuracy is important, but I think in this case it's okay to exaggerate a lot, like a lot.
yeah.
To be like, Your Honor, I tasted the corn. And like it's okay to like make stuff up a little bit to like
Oh my God.
be like, Your Honor, looked at my newborn baby, and I can't even look at my baby anymore because
I have flashbacks to that riverboat.
there was like a half a Snickers bar on his forehead, and now I had to give my baby up for adoption.
There's too much shame to affiliated
The
with the full
kids,
man.
my baby's cousins call him Twix bar.
No,
They
no,
call my baby's
no, they don't. No.
the emotional, the punitive, and the whatever the damages, whatever is going to get me the most money, Your Honor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Terrific. And I say
All
it's
of it.
okay.
No.
It's okay to exaggerate. You make up whatever you want. If you had your child shat upon by Dave
You can
Matthews,
Hilarious
say
fucker.
whatever by
you're
Dave
you're
Matthews.
yeah, you're allowed to
Yeah.
say whatever you want. You can make up stuff. You can,
You know what I love is that, well, I don't love that. I feel like I've heard Ace talk about that way before today. And when did I hear, like, when did it come up in conversation? Did he celebrate the 10-year anniversary of it? And I remember that on the show. So we're gonna have to reach out to Giovanni maybe and ask him to
no, I'm
like,
sure he didn't. Ace is doing a lot of like, I think Ace felt more constrained by tradition and like everything being true, like really true. But now that he's into the world of stand-up comedy,
I think
like
conspiracy too. Like
a lot of that
he's been a
world
little bit
is,
woke to like
yeah,
conspiracies, right?
maybe, yeah. But a lot of that is like he's in a world now where like all your favorite, they just like will make up, like really make up stuff, just like make up and like heavily embellished stories. Like Ace has been very fortunate because he really hasn't had to do that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? He just like the stories he tells about real life and all that are just really funny, like going to get a haircut or whatever. And
Right.
Getting a
but at
colonoscopy.
some point you do run out. And also in that world of comedy, it is very like
Zanku chicken.
they talk about this kind of stuff like a science, like how much you just make up and like
Man, if
it
you're
has to be rooted
peeing.
in reality a little bit. Man,
Sorry,
Can't
buddy.
help
It looked
myself.
like
What
you
can I
were
say?
it looked like you
still
were
have to pee off the
peeing.
side of the boat. That's how you do it on a river.
Hey man, when in Rome.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Uh,
what else should we talk about?
Well, Trump was awarded a Cybertruck.
Oh yeah. Yeah, what was that? I guess the big story of that is like Trump sits down with a bunch of streamers now. He's like sitting down with a lot of YouTubers, streamers, and some of them
yeah,
are really, really like massively popular,
Hmm.
but I've never heard of them.
right.
Like
That's
Because
the
he's not
thing
in your
they say
wheelhouse,
though,
bro.
like shoot your shot online
it's not,
because
yeah.
like you may have the hundreds of thousands of people that watch, and there's other hundreds of thousands of people that will
Yeah.
never see it, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's kind of hard for me to come to terms with it because it's like Aiden Ross is the guy, and I
Yeah,
guess he's got a ton of followers. He was a gamer at one point. Like he started on Twitch, I guess. So he was at
sure.
one time a gamer, streaming gaming and all that stuff. And then I think that's how a lot of those guys have like big ones started. Like Mr. Beast was doing gaming, I think, at first.
Uh-huh.
And then they eventually, and like any like adolescent teen, it's like eventually you're just like, I don't really want to play video games anymore. I want to go out and do stuff and like blow stuff up or like do other things and
Yeah,
same time play games. But
Right.
um, so they were like, I'm going to leave Twitch and go to YouTube or whatever he's on.
Kick.
I
right.
don't know what he's Kick. Okay.
Yeah.
He
And
looks like he's 22 years old. Like he looks like a little kid, but he
isn't he? Or
definitely,
maybe he's 27.
yeah.
Well,
No,
maybe
he's
he's younger than
24.
that.
He's
24. Okay.
24.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna be
Yeah. It's a
24.
different,
I love
those are
that.
like, this will sound weird to say, but like those are like the Leonardo da Vinci's of our time.
Yeah.
Who?
Now that sounds great. Like these streamer guys that are just like they were just like I'm gonna take my shot
Yeah.
Okay.
because they're just like because Leonardo I don't know maybe Leonardo da Vinci was like yeah I'll talk out of my ass but like he took a shot like I mean he could have easily been just like discarded because I'm sure
Mhm.
there are plenty of inventors and artists that were just like look at this look rich wealthy Italian merchant look at what I did and they were just like get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
I don't have time for your parlor tricks.
But he took his shot, like he took his shot and was like, I'm gonna like imagine a helicopter thingy, like or like draw like a human body with like, like kind of start and he did. And anyway, I'm sure someone will say that's a stupid idea, stupid comparison, but I think there's something to that. Like because there's in all humanity, there's very few of them.
Hmm.
That's always been the case. Like whether there's a million people on the planet or 4 billion people or
Right.
whatever it is now, 12 billion people on the planet, like the percentage of people that are willing to like shoot their shot and, you know, go
It's
at it
small.
like that, it's
Small.
very, very small. It's always been very small.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Stay in your place.
that says something about the people that go out and do it. And that says something about the rest of us that are just like, just regular people that,
Yeah.
Opt not
I don't
to.
know, opt not to, or can't imagine it,
Hmm.
don't want to
Sure.
take the risk. Or like know themselves and they don't really have the ideas or like just there's plenty of people like I don't really have the personality to do that.
Right.
I like to watch that and it's kind of entertaining to watch, but I know myself and I don't have the personality to go and do that stuff.
I mean,
Right.
you say that as you stream on YouTube right now on your podcast.
Well, I mean, I'm saying it like to that degree where you take your shot.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
You
No,
take your
for
shot
sure.
among friends where it's comfortable, or you take your shot and with people that want to throw spears at you or burn you at the stake.
Yeah.
True.
you
Yeah.
know, or would
Yeah.
just like to ruin you,
Hmm.
just because there's plenty of assholes out there which just like, yeah, I don't really like you. I don't really like what you just tried. You just tried to shoot your shot and I don't really like that. And I want to try to wreck you now.
I think that's why people are so hateful towards people that are comfortable in their own skin. Like I think like society is like mean to big girls that like love themselves. And I think it's because a lot of society is scared to like shoot their shot, if you will,
Maybe, or
collectively.
we were talking about that before. Like it's like an authenticity meter. Like humans have that
Yeah.
authenticity meter that is hard to fool. It can
Right.
definitely be tricked, like en masse, like it can be tricked big time, but
Yeah.
it in general, like it's hard to do.
Yeah.
It's hard. It is. or there's a saying you can fool most of the people all the time, or all the
Yeah,
people
some
most
of
of
the
the time,
people.
but you
Yeah.
can't fool all of them all the time, because like their humans have like a pretty good. It's like a dog sniffing, like
Sure. Yeah.
they kind of sense like threat,
What's up?
threat or
Yeah.
not, like threat or not, threat or not, threat or not. Yeah.
My boy barked the other night. It was so cute. He's like,
And that's, to get back to like the Kamala thing, I'm really fascinated whether people like pick up on it or not. Like people pick up on the fact that this is
Well,
like a
both sides of
Hollywood
the
production.
aisles are like getting ingratiated into the recent generation as far as like reaching out to influencers and whatnot, or influencers reaching out to them. It's interesting.
Yeah, presidential candidates, maybe not, but
Right.
in general, yeah, like Senate, like lower level politicians are realizing that I should go talk to anybody that will talk to me and get my name out there and all that.
yeah, for sure.
And then again, like, I like it because you put yourself out there on a stream with a popular YouTuber, and you go on Timcast, and people will pick up in one episode in an hour and a half, 2 hours, whether you're authentic or not.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they will let the world know, and you'll either be back on that show or you won't be.
Yep.
So there is like
Yeah.
it's a very democratic thing going on now. Um, People kind of voting with their time and feet
House and
beyond
Habit
the
said that
ballot.
they're paying influencers to put their time and feet on it. You know what I mean? Like to say that they're for or against certain things. That
I
influencers are
wonder,
being
yeah, I don't know
paid.
how much Trump is doing that. Um, because it seems like there's a different dynamic going on where influencers on his side are like, please come on my podcast, please, please, please.
Right.
I'll give you a cyber truck.
Yeah.
Versus on
I
the
want
other
to,
side, there's
yeah.
a different dynamic going. Like people are like, please come on my podcast, Trump, because like all my people that watch me are going to think it's really awesome and it's going to help me. Where on
Right.
the other side, on the other side, Democrats are literally paying OnlyFans hoes and social media. They're having to pay them to do pro Biden and now pro Kamala Harris
Harris
content.
fans. Yeah.
Or so that tells you there's something different. And I'm not saying like one side's going to win. Like the side that's paying people to like them might
Mhm.
win. The
Yeah,
side
for
that
sure.
doesn't need to pay people to like them might lose.
Yeah.
That's I don't know, man. It's really wild.
Like
Um,
it's like king gaslighting. It's like gaslighting elevated. Like it's like reality isn't reality. Like you just said, like he's not
It's
having to pay
absurd.
anybody to watch him.
It's all
However, it's
absurd.
very, very clear that he might lose in November,
mhm.
right? It's weird.
Yeah, I think people need to kind of come to some pretty hard terms about the makeup of our society. Like
Yeah.
we have our ideals about freedom and democracy and our constitution, the republic and all that. We have our ideals, like, and they're, you know, can't really understate how important they are. But we also have reality where it's like, man, these filthy humans are, man, pretty nasty,
It's so
pretty
bad.
pretty nasty. Like
It's
not a
so
lot better
bad.
than chimps, not a lot better than chimpanzees or dogs. Like we talk, we have fingers, we can
Yeah.
make machines and do like surgery by robots, but we also like, you know, do horrible things and chop each other up and traffic each other and stuff like that too.
Yeah. It's all
Like we have
body
to,
parts. Yeah.
and then take that forward, like how you vote, like the big themes that you support. Like don't get lost in like the little bit of bullshit. Like, oh, well, my local city council is not going to fund,
Right.
uh, you know, uh, you know, clause 456 to get, whatever random obscure thing into the classroom this year. It's like,
Right.
no, you need to be thinking about big themes, about freedom, about like humans have not evolved to the point where we can, maybe we have to some degree, but we haven't evolved to the point where we can worry about unnecessary, unimportant, useless shit so much and not have it like really backfire on us.
Yeah.
Like we're not evolved to the point where we can worry about the minutia. We aren't. We really aren't.
Yeah. Well, I think it's going to be really clear when like the things that we should have been worried about, like learning how to farm or learning how to, you know, all the
You
things
know,
that we should be learning
and I
or
wonder
have learned.
outside of the first world, and I bet there's probably places within the first world, the West, where like I don't maybe call it rural Poland or
Okay.
Hungary
Oh
or
yeah.
those types of places where they are actually still living traditional lives and people are passing down how to farm and how to,
Yeah,
you know, mate animals
sure.
as not as like a I'm a billionaire. I'm going to go buy a farm like Kevin Costner or something like that. Like no, they're doing it out of
Yeah,
complete
not Bill Gates.
necessity,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
not as like a hobby, like
Sure.
Or
not like as
overlooking the
a
Amish and
yeah.
here
They're
at
not.
home.
Yeah, yeah, exactly right. They're not on like a hey, we need to get back to our roots thing. They're just like
Right.
we've been living our roots. Like, would you like me to build you a table? Like I can build furniture. Like me and my son can build you a wagon wheel in 30 minutes.
That's the nice part about TikTok. Like they're literally showing people how to make butter. They're showing people how to like stabilize food, how to make it's the craziest thing. Like how to garden, how to like make your garden rotate, how to compost, how
Are you
like
saying are you saying that planning a global pandemic is good?
Yeah, what are you getting at here, woman?
I'm just getting at people should know some basic things, some things that like if shit goes awry, like when you get sick and things that maybe you can't get access to, but how can you make yourself heal naturally? Like
Yeah.
there's a
Well,
lot of
I
a
was
lot of that has been suppressed. Those things were
yeah, you're right.
common knowledge, and the Amish people probably still know them, and that's why they're healthy. That's why they didn't have a pandemic. Um, they
I
know
want to
these
start an
things.
Amish comedy club
What would you call it?
Do it.
where it's just Amish guys, like old school Amish guys making fun of people like us. Be like making fun of people like and they have passwords. And
Yeah.
someone stole his password and opened up a credit card account in his name.
Yeah.
And he had to spend 4 hours on the phone this week with some, Indian
With
person from another country
Comcast. Yeah.
explaining that he didn't open up this has literally happened to me where some motherfucker got a
How many
payday
times have you
loan.
been on with Comcast? How many hours have you given to like an Xfinity or an AT&T? How many hours?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like that would be the Amish comedy,
Please
like
show me Amish
making fun
TikTok.
of
Yeah.
making fun of the Westerners
Yeah.
as they spend 4 hours in like a customer service call loop, like
Have
hitting
you ever seen those
press two
motherfuckers
if
raise a
you
barn?
press two,
It's quite the sight
I
to
have, yeah.
behold.
It's quite the sight to behold.
We used to
Yeah.
go to like I lived in Baltimore and we would go up to Pennsylvania, Amish country in Pennsylvania. It was like no more than an hour away
Hmm.
Nice.
where they have like jams and jellies and
So
rail like
good.
old fashioned railroads. And there'd be like those guys on the buggies on the road. There still are in many places.
Yeah. Yes.
But the
In
joke is like they're not getting back to their roots. They're just like, what do you
They're
we
just
never
living
really
there.
left.
Yeah.
Like this is not a hobby. Like
but
we didn't
how
like
have they been able to like Indians were like that too, and they got overrun. Like, how is the Amish,
oh, I'll tell you
how is
how.
the government not like infiltrated that and made them like do all things, right?
I think that they're not seen as a threat. They're not seen as a threat. And the way the Amish maintain that lifestyle, if you really want to be honest about it,
I do.
they maintain that lifestyle through brutal tactics, letting their family know like you don't step outside these rules or you will be gone. Like we will ostracize you. And look then they'll take them out. Then they'll take them in their buggy like 20 miles down the road and show them like an ostracized person in the streets or
No,
something. Be like that's what will happen to you, and we'll do it to you, and we
on
don't
their
care.
18th birthday, they get like a week to go sow their oats. Like, go to the
Rumspringa, yeah,
fucking,
that's some
yeah,
good stuff.
go to the
That's some.
fucking, go do it. Go do all the
There's a
things.
whole
Lay with the
there's a
horse.
whole like I think people should look at that, and I think a lot of people have seen that, are aware of the Rumspringa and that
Yeah.
because it's like the Mormons do that too.
Hmm.
No, they send them on missions at 18.
Yeah,
You
that's
don't go,
right.
you
The
don't get to go sow
The
your oats.
Mormons
No.
do no, the Mormons do have like it may not be.
One of us had to hire an attorney to not be Mormon
I'm
anymore.
sorry. Okay, but
And
I'm telling you, there's Mormon kids wilding out right now.
yeah,
They have something too. They have something too. They have something too, but
it's called
we're
is
talking
it called
about it.
stewing? Is that what they call it, where they lay in the bed?
No, we're talking
Soaking.
about
Soaking.
no,
Soaking.
we're not talking about these things right. We're talking about these things as if they're so bizarre to
Right.
us, and we should be talking about these things like they might have something figured out. Like, this is a really hard lifestyle, but it will never let you down if you never let it down. If you stay within these rules, however cruel and unfulfilling they may be at some time, sometimes they will never let you down. There will always be 20 men to help you build a barn whenever you need it, as long as you show up to build their barn when they need it. And this will never, ever, ever let you down. However, those people, I think, as much as my opinion, they have come to the understanding that there will come a time in a young man and a young woman's life where the devil, call it biology, call it hormones, you call it devil, Satan, whatever you want to call it,
El
the
Diablo.
bad spirits, like there will come a time in a young man and woman's life where they are gonna want to
Wild out.
test this.
Yeah.
They're gonna want to test this thing you're telling them, right? And they've kind of created this system where, like, okay, you get a hall pass or you get a free pass for a short period of time, and you have to decide. So most of them decide not to leave. I guess I don't really know. I don't know what the statistics are there. Maybe half and half. Most of them decide to stay or come back. But I think I find it fascinating that they've kind of come to the terms with the fact that we can't just imprison them. We do need at some point to give the young people a chance to just say no. I'm going to opt out, and it's a
That's
risk
that's
because if you don't, then you really can't say to those people when they're 30 and 40 that they didn't have a choice. So we think about life like we must have choices all the time, 24/7, three
It's
65 in my life. They think about it like you had a choice when you were 18
yeah,
and you made it, and now you got to stick with it.
yeah. In the
And I'd
Amish
argue like
community.
I would argue like I don't know, like I really like aliens should come down from outer space and study us to decide who's happier. Who's happier?
Yeah,
The guy that's like stressing about his iPhone's about to die and like the iPhone 16 is really expensive and the fucking payment plans and like or
outrageous.
or the Amish guy who's, you know, maybe has bad teeth because, you know, toothpaste is a sin, but, you know, barn's
Which
good. The barn is standing. The barn's not going
yeah.
to fall. You know, it's like
His wife knows how to make butter,
it's a
and they're
trade-off. Yeah.
eating, and they're yeah. It's a
But I think
very
it's like it's
interesting.
something like they've known like hundreds of years of their traditions. They know that at a certain point, kids are going to get rebellious and
Yeah,
you
let
can't
them
just
go.
chain them. You can't chain them to the floor, let it pass, and expect it to go okay.
That's
You
the
have
difference between the Amish and the Mormon. The Mormon are like suppress,
no
suppress,
free will. Yeah.
suppress, just
Well, that's the difference
suppress.
between like certain religions, like Christianity, and that where there's free will, and
Yeah,
there's other religions that do not believe in free will. They don't
yeah.
believe that a human should get the choice to stray
But
from God.
the question about Amish being able to exist within our government, though, like
Well,
the
if COVID,
taxes,
they were gonna
all of
get.
the things, right? Like Amish don't pay taxes, right? Like they're just their own community. Like they have their own. How is that a thing?
I think they probably fly under a lot of the same laws that farmers do because if you're a proper farmer, there's a lot of rules where you just like a certain percentage of your land has to grow a certain crop, and then you're good.
Right,
So as
but
long as
that
you do that every year, it's like I'm guessing they take advantage of a lot of the same loopholes that farmers do. I don't want to say loopholes; it's like a bad thing, but it's just like a people have it's a you own a massive property. Yes, one year you might produce a lot of crops, It's worth
Mhm.
something. But I think we've come to understand that we can't tax you on the property like we can like a suburban home.
Right.
A suburban home is like maintains its value consistently. A farm is not like that. So I don't know. But I was saying like during COVID times when people were starting to use when people that were like when the non-Amish, the were like under a lot of pressure, they were starting to throw up the Amish as like shields. Like, wait
Yeah.
a minute here, are you going to let them not get the vaccine? It's like, whoa, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to are you trying to get out of the vaccine, or are you trying to make the government force the vaccine on the Amish people? Because that's a dick move. Like, but people are starting to do that. People are starting to use the Amish as an example of the hypocrisy and unfair 2-tier, 3-tier systems of like, why are you making my child and like my 17, 18-year-old get vaccinated to go to college,
They don't have to vaccinate their
but
children.
you're
They're
not
like
making the
exempt from
Amish
all the
person.
government things. Like,
Good for
why
them.
is that? Why though? Why can't I just declare my neighborhood Amish and we're exempt from all the things? Like, why?
You can.
Is their bloodline so pure that they are exempt from the
Apparently it is.
tax cattle?
If you fully commit to that lifestyle, apparently they have actually worked out a system where they can get away with this stuff. If you commit, I'm saying like your neighborhood's going to be like,
We're not
we
doing
need to
that.
kick Juana. We need to kick
Yeah,
this lady out. She's trying to
they
get us
don't
to be
even want to
Amish.
have chickens. I just want to have chickens. Like, we could just have chickens, make
But
our
like
own
they figured it out.
eggs.
Like
Like,
I
I'll do it
liked
in
that
my yard.
about.
I don't need you to have it in your yard, but like, we'll have enough chickens and eggs to feed us.
There's
We have,
something about the Amish situation that I really like. Like I really
same,
love that. Like if you're committed enough to that lifestyle of leaving everyone else alone,
making your own
like
medicine,
really,
being willing to
like
die
if
at
you're committed
home.
to that, like,
That's the
yeah, we should
commitment.
give you should get special privileges. I
That's
mean,
the
or no,
commitment.
not as in like we're not going to tax you. Like we're not just going to like we're
But
not
they
going to kind of take.
don't.
Cool, I'm good with that.
Right. Well, I mean, I wish I could
I mean,
identify as Amish, I guess.
well, I think you also have to realize that when they put a lot of jams and jelly out into the world, there are non-Amish shops that are charging taxes on those things. When you go to Intercourse, Pennsylvania, that's a real place. Intercourse, Pennsylvania.
Shout
Capital
out
of
to
jams.
Intercourse.
Jams and jelly capital of the world.
Jamming and jellying.
That's right. Intercourse, Pennsylvania. You go up there and it's like there's a lot
Shout
of
out to
commerce.
KJ. KJ loves a pun.
The Amish may not be collecting taxes and remitting them back to the Fed every quarter, but there's a lot of commerce generated by Amish country and people coming up there to see the old ways and taking the old rail. Like when you pay like a $10 ticket to get on the old railroad, ride around the country. Yeah, Uncle Sam's getting a little piece of that. So is the state of Pennsylvania. So I think they've kind of like,
I think it's
but
because
trust
it's
me,
just
like
there.
if things got really, trust me, if things got really destitute, like the government would be showing up at the Amish doorstep, like, give me all your food.
Yeah, that butter right there, that butter's mine now.
Like,
Thank
bro,
you.
like, dude, yeah, like like in downtown Philadelphia, we have no food, so
Yeah, where are
we're gonna
your
have like,
butter making bitches? Bring them
yeah,
to
it's
the
like
front of the room.
respect your old school ways, but gonna need half your food now. Oh, it's a real shame you don't believe in weapons. Real shame.
Yeah. And what that pitchfork's not going to stand up against this gun.
This
So
whole turn your other cheek thing is actually has worked out really well for the atheists. Really, really great.
thanks a lot, atheists.
I don't think you
Take
can
advantage of
say
it.
that.
What? No, the atheists know. Like they know. I mean, the people that are invading the UK right now realize that Christian culture is like turn the other cheek, turn the other cheek, turn the other cheek.
Yeah,
Dude, I've been watching videos here and there about what's going on. If it's not like
that's
the
wild.
farmers protesting, it's all well, I'm sure they're tied into it because, money's being diverted to all the influx of migrants or what, I don't know, all the people from different countries.
It's hard to find a lot of videos of the religious sectarian violence going on in the UK right now between Christians, or I would say quotations Christians, because they really don't go to church,
Hmm.
Yeah.
and the Muslims who go to church, who are very dedicated to their God, to
Yeah.
their religion. Very dedicated. They're very dedicated to having babies,
Hmm.
very dedicated to their religion,
Yeah.
very dedicated to going to church, very dedicated to machetes and knife work, stuff like that.
And
And
brandishing those in the streets.
the Christian heritage people in the UK are just like, fuck that. Like, that's, don't try to control me with your bullshit and your
Yeah.
lies. You're just trying to control me with your religion. And now those people are running for their lives in the streets of Leeds or Birmingham, and with like it's like the anti-opposite crusades going on in their cities. It's wild. And I'm saying you can't find a lot of videos of it because they are not allowed to share those videos.
Oh, they
Yes.
aren't?
No, they
No.
are not.
They're
They
like
can be arrested. If you take a video,
arrested.
if you have a
Oh,
video of a
hold on.
of a
I thought it was just limited to whatever you shared on Twitter or social media. I didn't know that it also extended to video as well.
no, if you share the video, like if you take a video
I thought it was
of
just
like
like
a
text. I meant, sorry. I didn't know that
if you
extended to
take a
video as
video of
well.
like a yeah, no, for sure. If you take a video of a riot, or no, if you just retweet a video of a riot that they say will cause more violence than
Right.
you have committed a crime. But really, they're just trying to cover up the fact that they're losing control, and all the
Right.
immigrants they've come in have like taken over major parts of their cities.
Hmm.
Are
Again,
now
I
taken to the
mean,
streets.
again, like I don't really fault groups of people for taking charge of their destiny.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So if the English people are just like, hey, all you people that we currently abused, come on over and do your thing. And you can have
Yeah.
full protection of all of our laws. And we feel so bad about what we did a couple hundred years ago that we'll even like bend our laws to make it even easier for you. It's like, and so when those people go there and they're just like, we're going to set up shop, but these pussies are weak. We're going to set
Yeah.
up shop
Yeah.
and do things our way. I can't really, obviously not on their side, but it's like, I can't really fault them for being like, these people are going to let us run roughshod. Let's run roughshod,
Right. Yeah.
you know?
Hmm.
But they've invited it and it's weird. So you have like, you can take a picture of like a video of like, it could be white guys fighting Muslims or Muslims attacking white guys or whatever over there. You're not allowed to share it
It's
because you're
so
inciting violence. And they're even starting to say the chief of police, like their chief of police in London, their metropolitan police, whatever, like they're I don't know if that's their FBI or something, but um, he basically was threatening to that if you're a foreigner, like just because you're not a citizen of the UK, if you're a foreigner somewhere else and you're sharing videos that incite violence in the UK, they're saying that they can charge you as a terrorist and that
Wait.
you're breaking their terrorism laws.
yeah. Manny, you
I mean,
think your little Facebook
that's what
ban
we
is
do.
crazy.
That's what we do. Like we
Yeah.
do. We make laws in the US about terrorism. And then we get like, I guess we get like a global organization to sign off on it. And
Right.
then when someone in Somalia, not the United States,
Hmm.
like someone in Somalia starts like talking about this or that, like we'll like charge them with crimes like under. So that's what the UK is like. Well, we'll just do that to Westerners. Like we were doing this to Afghanis,
Right.
Right.
but now we'll just do it to like, you know, Manny, who's sharing videos of riots.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all nonsense because it's like,
Yeah.
try it. But it's like the gall that this some bitch even went on national television, global television, and was making these threats
Yeah.
that if you're outside of the UK and you share these videos, that the United Kingdom government can charge you, what, in an international, whatever, can charge you with terrorism and attempt to extradite you. Now, would it work? No. Would it cost you a lot of money?
Fuck
Probably.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, did you see that video of Kamala
The
saying that
gall, the
as a
gall.
as
Ugh.
a as a prosecutor with the stroke of her pen she can like
Well,
basically ruin a
same
person's
mentality.
life. Did you see
Same
that?
vibe, same vibe, same vibe. These
You
people
have to
hate
hire an
authoritarians.
attorney. You could like all the things she said in that clip.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
I really hate these people. They hate authoritarians, and they're always talking about fascism and authoritarian, blah blah blah. And it's like, and then they just say it out loud. They say the authoritarian stuff out loud. She's
It's
talking about how it's up to
gaslighting. That's
her.
what gaslighting is. Like it's
She's
I'm
basically
doing this
saying,
thing and I'm telling you that I'm doing that you're doing this thing, but I'm the one doing this thing.
yeah, she was basically talking about, and this is it. She was talking about a young man, right, who maybe gets mixed up in the law, right, and he
Just this
decides to do it.
involved citizen.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you know exactly who she's talking about when she's talking about like, I can make this a felony drug offense or I can make this a misdemeanor drug possession.
She said she could just
She
write,
ain't talking
she
about
said
like
she could invent it out of air. Her
she's not talking
power
about
was
Tim
she could just
Waltz,
invent it, not even if you've done anything. Like I could make it so miserable for you. You have to hire an attorney, you have to lose work, maybe you get fired from your job with the stroke of a pen. She said it like so callously, like I
Well,
could
you know
just
why?
invent
Like,
something. I can make a whole invention of a crime and then just pull back and say, yeah, you didn't do that.
well, she
But
didn't use those words, but yeah, I mean, it was pretty close. And what's the what's the most devious about it is that she was actually saying this. She was saying these things to try to make it seem like the justice system is unfair, right? She wasn't saying these things like I can do this. She was saying these things like
with the stroke
this
of
is
her
what
pen.
this is what a prosecutor can do. Like she was actually describing it in a bad way. Like we need to fix this system where prosecutors can, with the stroke of a pen, wreck your life
Right.
because they'll just say this is a felony or a misdemeanor with the stroke of a pen. She was, this is what's so devious about these fucking monsters. Like she was talking about these things as if it's a bad thing and we need to fix it and take that out of our justice system.
It was more like a gloat.
She is a scumbag because these are the exact tools. The reason she's able to speak about this is because these are the exact tools that she used against her constituents and her citizens when she was a DA. So that's the
Thousands of
deviousness. That's the deviousness of it. Like
thousands
she's
of
not
misdemeanor marijuana possession.
like we know that, but like the speech that she were talking about, she actually was not bragging in that speech.
Yeah.
She was telling the truth, but she wasn't bragging. She was trying to like talk about how bad this system is, but she used
Yeah.
the system. She's a vice presidential candidate because she was a DA and 100% used that system in her pen
Yeah.
to wreck the lives of people that voters wanted their lives wrecked.
For sure.
Her voters wanted the lives of young black youth offenders, drug offenders, whatever, wrecked. Her voters wanted that happen. So she was like, I will use my pen to make that happen, voters.
Mm-hmm.
Now that she's on a national stage and she needs votes from a certain constituency, she's like warning us about the evils of this system. Man, these are monsters, man. I mean, you can be religious or not, but these are the types of people that religious texts talk about when they talk about like evil, the devil, Satan, like that. Like people that are just like have zero morals, like just zero.
I don't
They're
even
just
know that
they're
it's
empty vessels.
yeah. It's like
Empty, literal empty vessels.
it's like there's something inside of them that's not like it's like so I can't believe the things like every day I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, like I know this person, like I've hugged them, like I know them. Like, how is this what they're saying? Like,
Best way
why
I
are
can
they saying
describe it,
those things?
the way I try to describe it and understand it is I try to understand when I was, or think about when I was 12 or like in sixth grade, right? Where
Sure.
everything, like everyone's approval of you in your circle, what they thought about your clothes, like everything mattered. Like all that stuff mattered so much.
Yeah.
Right. So you would do and say and dress a certain way and laugh at certain, like, it's peer pressure, right? Like when you're 12, it's a very natural, understandable thing to go through. Like you feel like you have to please everybody all the time, but well, there's a thing called being a grown up and like a
Mm.
fully functioning, well-adjusted
Yeah.
adult who doesn't think
Mhm.
like a 12-year-old anymore and doesn't need the approval of everyone all the time in every
And
room at
isn't
every speech.
triggered by every single thing, but
Who doesn't feel the need to like who thinks like being a human and being a chameleon is really sick. Like it's a sick way to be as a human, to just be
yeah,
ever changing, like go with the flow, go along. But like that's a lot. That's a lot of our society, just empty vessels. They don't really have any beliefs. They don't really care about the Constitution. They don't really care about any religion whatsoever. I mean, pick one. I mean, be something. Like pick a group and get on board with some good or something. But it's like they don't believe in really anything. It is like a nihilism, like on a
yeah.
massive scale of
That
with
is the
people that don't even know
religion.
what nihilism means. They have no idea.
Yeah,
They like there was never a time where any public school teacher ever even said that word to them or gave them a textbook with that word in it.
yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, it really is maybe it's a natural course for humans, or maybe it's being put upon us by some other force, that doesn't want us to have any beliefs, that wants us to be immoral or without
I,
morals.
I
Like
watched the Truman Show this week, thinking that I would get like some sort of answers, like maybe like this is all like maybe I'll watch that and everything will snap into focus, and still like
Mm.
it just feels
well,
like
the
the
answer is that it's not
weirdest time
good.
to be alive. Yeah, yeah,
The answer is not that it's not really good. Like the answer is like, I mean, I
yeah,
know one of the things about the Bible that I think, again, believe it or not, written by man, written whatever, inspired by
yeah,
God, believe it or not, but like they talk about like how the earth is not, it's not the Jetsons. It's not gonna be the Jetsons.
yeah,
It's never gonna be the Jetsons here. Like like you can watch whatever uh cartoons about the future and like, toaster ovens in every wall, like
yeah.
push a button and your meal comes out.
Right.
But it's never gonna be like that. Never going to be like, I mean, to be like that for like Elon Musk probably has a button he can push for a full meal to come out of the wall or something, but
You know what? In the 50s and
never going to be
60s, I
like that.
think their kitchen technology was way more than it is now. Like they had fucking mixers coming out of the walls. Like they had some badass shit going on in the
That was a good time. I
60s.
remember watching
Yeah.
those they were like cartoons almost like animation type things.
I'm
Like,
a homemaker, if you
oh
will.
my
Like I
God.
make bread at the like imagining like a mixer just like is
I think it
attached.
was built into the.
Yes.
I wouldn't
Yes.
want that. I wouldn't want that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like if you got a car that I remember
Things
my
change
dad,
too.
yeah, like all
Things,
the can break, more things that
yeah,
can
things
break. But
change. Well, like at that time in that time in history, like if you had like a big house was like 1,200 square feet, and like even if you were like kicking
true.
ass, like your kitchen was really small
Yeah.
because in our society at that point it was like there was no McMansions and all that stuff. Like people were
Yeah.
like 3,000 square foot house. What? Like, do you understand how much it would cost to heat that house? Like, how many fireplaces? You got to chop so much wood.
Yeah.
It was just unthought of. So places were small because it was just that. So you had to like get a small kitchen where you wanted to like build appliance, and you had to have 7 appliances. Like you didn't have an air fryer.
Right.
You
No,
have a
you did
toaster
not.
oven. This, you have that kind. You'd have a blender,
Yeah.
and it was all about like I think it all came from like whatever they say, necessity is the mother of all invention. It came from like limited space. All these appliances are on the market now that you got to have from Sears Roebuck,
Hmm.
Yeah.
and you don't have a place to put them. So we better start
Build
building
them
these things
in.
into the counter. And you can buy a blender from Sears Roebuck for $19.99,
Or
and it'll be upside down on your counter, and you just flip a lever, and like all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's incredible.
yeah. Yeah.
That was
I
back in like World's Fair type days where people were just like, look at this awesome, cool invention I made. And now it's like software and proprietary code. And you can't look at my invention because it's
yeah.
proprietary code. Like you can't look at it.
Yeah.
You can't look under the hood to see how I made this mousetrap
Sorry, it's
Yeah.
forbidden.
unless you sign an NDA.
Yes.
But that's a natural course of events, I think.
Simpler time.
But I mean, we could easily, I mean, we could, if we had a famine, like humans would revert back to basic stuff like instantly.
Or not, like they don't know how to do that. Like I
Well, the ones that live
I
will.
can knit a sock.
Like,
I know how to make socks. Like I can, like there are things that people don't know how to do. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
it's not a nice thing to talk about, but like obviously a large amount of people will just die.
yeah,
I'm talking about the survivors are just like
yeah,
the people that like had appreciation for the Amish. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
Which makes you understand why diabetes is such a rampant disease in this country.
What do you mean?
They can't
that would be an
survive.
interesting
They can't
thing.
survive without refrigeration. They
Oh, oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
like they're dead. And there's like think of the population that has diabetes. Think of it.
Yeah,
Type 1
yeah,
and type
no.
2, dead immediately with no refrigeration, they're dead. It's
All
over.
right.
Wrap in 30 days, gone. They don't
I wonder if the
exist
Amish have
anymore.
diabetics.
But they don't.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure Pfizer's not going to be uh, investing any money in studying the Amish and how they never get sick.
Yeah.
I
No,
think it's
they're
just because
not.
of their diet. Honestly, I think they have like a very simple diet that doesn't.
What are they
I bet
doing?
it's a
Why is their
combination of
soil still good? Why is like why are we not studying that? Why are we letting them exist in like this beautiful way, natural way, and the rest of us are just like dying with vaccines? Like it's so
I don't know.
weird.
Well, the worst case scenario is that like the young people in Austin start getting real into Amish stuff and like just start bastardizing Amish. You know what I mean? Like some, oh my God, like the worst thing possible in our society would be like some Austin beatniks deciding they're going to become the new Amish.
Mhm.
They still have iPhones and iPads and internet. And all they got like, whatever the Elon Tusk, like
It's
whatever
Romsch.
Elon.
What did you call it?
Room
Romschgrumma.
Springer,
Rospringer.
Every
Room
weekend,
Springer.
bro.
It's
Like,
like
yeah, it's like there's a room stringer party every weekend,
Welcome
like
to
Monday
Room
through
Springers.
Friday. Like Monday
can
through
you
Friday,
imagine
don't
if
touch a drop.
Jadam became Amish?
Monday through Friday, you can't touch a drop, but on the weekend, it's rum springer every weekend, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. Oh my
That would be
gosh.
incredible. Yeah, they'd be like Amish, but with beanies on, beanie hats
Yeah,
on in the summertime.
man buns.
They would have the Amish attire from neck down, but a beanie cap on. I feel like someone was Adam talking about. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's an original thought or like if I heard someone talk about that, like Amish and like that would be the worst case scenario. Is like because when people start thinking something's cool,
Right.
Yeah. No,
they
they
just
have their
ruin it.
own reality show, the Amish do. Like
It's like pop
escaping.
country. Like, a lot of people hate pop country. Like when all of a sudden, like, there's some pop artists that were like, oh, I could sell. I start singing about like trucks and God and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it's like they're just having huge concerts with like 12-piece electric guitar bands singing about fishing and God with
What
like
happened to
giant
that redheaded, what happened to that redheaded kid?
What redheaded kid?
Remember?
Oliver North.
Yeah.
Is that his? No,
No,
no, Oliver
no.
North is our. Oh, shit. I don't think he's running. I don't think that singer's running
His,
Guns to Ran lately.
Yeah,
his,
for real. I guess we know who's on your
his
mind
name
these
is
days.
Oliver, though, right?
Oh,
It was
Rich.
Oliver.
I watched that song. That song popped up today
Okay.
in a
It
in like
did.
a yeah in like a
Where is he now?
in a
Oliver
no
Anthony.
it was like a TikTok treatment on that video. It was a video of it was a video montage of all the streamers doing their first reaction video to that
Mhm.
song. And it was really poignant because these are all like random people. These aren't
Okay.
country
Was
streamers.
was it mostly blacks? I mean, if we're
That was
going
like
to date.
it was like half and half. Like there was like, if I recall right, there was like one where it's like, I guess there's a reaction video channel where it's like an Asian girl and her dad and they're doing, you know, it's cool. They're doing reaction videos now.
Okay. Oh, the
But
Asians
it was a
and the
very
blacks.
this particular video was a very diverse group of streamers doing their reaction videos and being touched by the song, being blown
Nice.
away by it, you know, which is part of the whole reaction video genre is like
Just saying, where is he at? Where is he today?
I'm sure
he's still doing it. He's releasing songs. He's
Okay.
going on tour with somebody else, I think.
Oh, bless his heart. Good.
But what I enjoyed about that song is that for me personally, when it came out and it was such a
Mhm.
huge hit, like I'm not like I don't really like running towards the shiny thing that everybody else is running towards.
Right.
Maybe that shiny thing is great, right? But I just
Sure.
that's part of my personality is I don't.
Yeah. Not doing
But a
that.
year
Because you're a
later,
rebel, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's just my personality is like I don't want to be in the group.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to, you know, it's that served me well. It's also, you know, probably hurt me a lot. But
Sure.
the but a year later, I watched that and the song is better now. The song is
Okay.
better. It hits a little harder, it hits a little truer. There's not all the hype around it. And you just listen to it a year later without all the hype around it. It's just like, wow,
Well,
that was pretty
share it in the
good.
group.
There's a
Let's,
reason. There's a reason that that song hit so many people.
yeah. Share it in the group. Let's see what you're talking
I
about.
will, yeah. And part of that video was like each streamer that was doing their reaction video had a there was a different line in the song that hit them.
Right.
Like people love the whole I wish politicians would care more for minors and less about minors somewhere on an island somewhere. Like people
Yeah.
that people like that a lot. You know, just people like people not feeling like they're in control of their lives, like that there's someone far away making decisions about what kind of stove they can have or what kind of light bulb. And that's
Mhm.
just not a good, that's not a, like, I don't care. Humans have not evolved to the point where we're all going to be okay with that.
Yeah.
Some people are like, that's the other species that's evolving. There's a species of humans that's evolving to where it's just like, yes, govern me,
Yeah.
daddy, govern me
Yeah.
harder, daddy.
They love it. Yeah. They want it. Tell me
And
what
they're
to
just like,
do.
what is this? Like, freedom is lame. You know, like
How many
choices are
more
lame.
vaccines I need to be to how many more
Yeah.
vaccines do I need to be
Freedom is
safe?
lame.
Make me
Freedom is
safe.
lame. That all that's lame. What is not lame is safety and predictability. That's what I want. Anything else is lame.
I
Safety,
think
predictability,
I
no
think people
risk.
are avoiding the reality that, you know, it's all fleeting. Like 1 minute you're here, the next you literally could be gone. Just
But it
gone.
shows like
Like
that's why like
done.
I think that's
Dead.
part of the mentality of like, you know, you have friends that are just like really into like this government and like Joe Biden because it's like they really are clinging on to this has to work out.
They want to be safe. They want to feel
This
safe.
system, yeah, this system has to work out. These people that make me feel safe and make me feel like life is going to be predictable, it has to work out. It has to. Like I cannot have that other guy that is going to make me feel like it's it's not predictable and I'm not going to be safe. I just can't have it. So it's like, we talk, we like attribute things like they're just stupid or whatever. No, it's like it's a kind of a normal human thing that they just glom on to the state, you know. And I think the state knows that too. They know that there's always going to be a certain percentage that are just like, govern me, daddy,
Make me, yeah. Make me feel safe. Please.
harvest my ballot, you know.
Yeah. And my organs, what have you got to do? Take
Yeah,
them
write
all.
me a ticket. Yeah.
Damn, you're getting
Tell
really
me,
kinky
tell
tonight.
me, tell me what kind of insurance I need. Tell me.
Bro,
Don't
it's
make me
so true.
decide.
Yeah, it's true.
Tell me how to live my life, daddy. Yeah.
True.
That's how people look at it. I mean, that's probably the same like 500 years ago with serfs and that. There's probably one serf that's just like, we need to kill this king. And they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Slow down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that does not sound like a predictable life for us. This king, even though he's, yeah, maybe he might be horrible, but like, we've had predictable harvests. Things predictable.
Wild time to be alive, bro.
Anyway, it always has
And
been. Yeah.
yeah, that's the other thing is
It's
that
always
I
wild.
try and think about like
Wild is relative to whatever.
yes, yeah, but it does feel like in my lifetime of knowing about wild things and being an adult, I feel like I've been an adult for at least, I've been an adult writing checks in a household for at least 40 years. So it feels weirder. Like everything just feels a little bit, it's different.
Yeah, well,
It's
give your
all
kids a head
different.
start. Try to explain things to your kids in a way where they get a head start on this and they don't have to wait till they're 35 to start seeing through
Looking
some of the
at it like,
cracks.
yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
like,
Yeah.
I mean, our founding fathers were young, you know. Some of them were old, but like some of them were really young.
Yeah.
Really young.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were like looking at the world like, I don't I don't accept that this is the way it is. I don't accept that has to be the way it is.
That, yeah. I don't know if I
I
had
don't-
a child in these like days, like
How would
I don't
you?
know about public school. Like I don't know that they're teaching what, like I feel like you would have to combat it every day, like what they say to you. It would be like being in a divorced household where you're like, what did your mom say? You know what I mean? Like you're literally in
There are a
your
lot of parents, I
parenting
think.
with a person that you may not know. Like you talked about like the new hires in your neighborhood, like what are they teaching our children? Like,
Well,
yeah,
so my belief, I think the right way to look at it is that you like in everything in life, everything, you have to be proactive and not
sure,
reactive. If you're
1,000,000%.
reacting to the latest bullshit that your kid's coming home with, it's gonna be rough.
Yeah,
If you're proactive and you kind of set the tone for, well, COVID helped me, like I've said before, I drop
good.
my son off every day at school. I would be laughing maniacally, telling him, your science teacher is going to make you wear a mask today. And he'd be shutting the door. I'd be laughing and rolling down the street.
Yeah,
like, like you need to respect these people, but you need to understand that that person is 24 years old,
yeah.
doesn't know shit. And it's just really like teaching you what they've been told to teach you. Like this is not an
Yeah,
independent person winging it with their wisdom. They are
right.
reading from a manual, and sometimes the manual's right and sometimes it's not. But
It's incredibly wrong. Yeah,
understand what's going on here, understand what you're doing.
yeah.
And I think it's worked. I think
For your family. I'm just saying, like for the
oh, there's a
masses.
lot of parents out there that are taking the way wrong approach. Well, they
Well,
don't
they're
have any
checked
real
out. They don't know better. You
well,
know what I
if you
mean?
really well, they don't know better, but if you don't have any foundational beliefs, right,
Yeah,
that are rooted in something bigger, that are like then if in your atheistic world all morals are relative, then it's like what are you gonna like what foundation are you gonna lay down for your kids? Like you are
yeah,
always going to be in a reactive you're always going to be in a reactive position
yeah,
because you can't really fill your kid's mind up with anything of substance like where there's right and wrong and all that kind of stuff like so um just big theme like Americans, Europeans, Westerners not going to church, like not like I don't even if you don't believe it, okay, you have to admit that that ritual
yeah.
kept things going in a pretty good direction.
Oh my
Mhm.
gosh.
Yes, abused, but I mean, if you don't think atheists abuse people, I mean, fuck off.
But
You
one
must be
day a week where
retarded.
your family has to go, that you got to dress the right way. You got to show up for God. You got to, like, yeah, maybe Saturday night was crazy, but dad still fucking puts his tie on, drives your asses to church, and you sit there for an hour. Like, it's a structure. It's the same as the family
Yeah, I mean, and
meal.
I'm not even
It's
saying we do that all the time either, but it's like you have to fill them with something,
something.
some system of beliefs. If you fill
Yes.
them with like, well, you pick and choose,
No.
Nothing's right, nothing's wrong. All systems of belief are blah 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 blah. Even the people that want to kill you and blow you up are their system is just as good as ours. Like you're in trouble. Like
Yeah.
your kids are already in trouble.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But if you fill them with something, whatever it is, I mean, because I'll tell you what, like I don't think these Hindu parents in my neighborhood are worried about woke teachers. Hell no, they're not,
Yeah.
because they've instilled in their kids a certain black is
Yeah.
white, black is black, white is white, up is down, up is up, and down is down.
Yeah. No matter what they tell you at that school, no matter what that
So,
evil
and like whether
black
you, I mean, the same
bitch
thing
teaches
goes for
you.
like, I don't think Muslim parents are like, they're probably not liking it, but I don't think they're worried about like that in
Yeah.
that way because now they're more annoyed
Mhm.
that someone's trying to
Well,
do
they're
that.
here
They're
keeping
not
their
really
own
worried
culture
about.
together. Like our culture has been so divided that there is no culture anymore. Like they want to keep their culture. They want to keep their bless bless them. Like they literally want to keep their shit together.
I mean, that's kind of what they've been trained to do.
That's
Told to do is like,
yeah, and that is what is that's family and tradition. That's what holds societies together. It's family and
yeah, I mean,
tradition.
I would welcome them to maintain their family and tradition and their religious ways in their home countries
That's on
where,
us, letting them in here to
yeah,
spread
but
their
like,
family and tradition.
yeah, like this all, it's all part of their plan was basically like these dumbasses are going to welcome us in because
But
they
that's
think
what you're
that once
saying
we're,
about the school
they
thing. Like
think,
they're keeping their shit together because of their
no, yeah,
family and
you're
tradition.
right.
Like
Yeah,
we should keep
I'm
our family and
saying,
tradition together too. We should
yeah,
have something, but we don't have anything.
I'm saying that
That's
they have a
our
very good defense mechanism against that. I'm not saying I like that defense mechanism, but I appreciate the fact that they've put that mechanism in place,
yeah.
Mhm.
But that's a whole nother story about, I guess, American, idiotic American ambassadors, State Department thought that, well, we'll just have all them come over here. And then once they see all these fancy, shiny things, they'll just drop their religion, right? They'll just drop it and they'll just start buying stuff, run up their credit cards and having abortions like everybody else and just they'll start loving Hollywood. They'll like, like their whole lives will revolve around Marvel characters and stuff like that. And they
It's
came here and
even
they're
more
just like,
diabolical than that.
no, no, they're not.
We took our God out and said, we're not going to celebrate. I was in the classrooms when Pledge of Allegiance was deemed, it was after 9/11. It was just a couple years after 9/11 because my daughter was in kindergarten on 9/11. I did not want to send her to school that day because I was so scared. But within 3 or 5 years after that, the Pledge of Allegiance was taken out of the classroom because it made Muslim
Yeah, we
kids
really,
feel uncomfortable talking about
we've really screwed ourselves big time.
our
Yeah.
God.
We've
It,
really, like,
we took it out. We did it. We made that
yeah.
happen. And we keep pushing for less and less of what makes America. And maybe that sounds horrible. I don't know if I'm racist. I guess I am, but
I
I
think
don't
it's okay
know.
to think, I think it's okay to believe
Hate
that.
that like loving God makes me like this horrible person, but whatever.
I think from like I don't know, like an anthropologist point of view or like a sociologist point of view, it's okay to realize that when countries and groups of people stop having like common beliefs, like things
Yeah.
start to fall apart. This is all throughout humanity, like
Mhm.
all.
Yeah.
And
It's that our government led us to that, though. They took it out. They made it a crime to say uh, one nation under God in the classroom.
well, I mean, that's kind of why I believe what I believe is that again, like the earth, humans are not going to go the way of the Jetsons.
Yeah.
Right? That's it. Like we have an optimism bias, we have a normalcy bias. We think that's what's going to happen. No, I think like what my religion teaches me is that no, things on earth are just going to get worse and worse and worse. Um, yes, there will be people on earth at this time that just get more and more and more comfortable,
Yeah.
right? But in general, like this is not going to end well. And I think it's kind of like even if you're not religious, you got to like look at the patterns and be like, yeah, this is not going to end well. There's no way that at like in
But no
like
one's looking at the patterns. Like it's not, it's like it's not, that's not a thing that's happening right now. Like the
There's no
common,
possible, like you can be an atheist, you can be religious, whatever you want. You got to admit, there's no possible way there's ever anything that's going to happen on Earth that unites all of humanity
yeah,
ever. Aliens could come down, half humanity would be siding with them, and half the other would be trying to fight the aliens. Like there's no,
Speaking of which, you notice
that
how
is
there's
that
been
is the human
very
condition. The
little,
human condition is that we will never be unified.
very
Yeah.
little alien talk lately.
Mm.
That's true. Yeah, where'd all the aliens go? I think they're sitting back like, let's see how this election goes.
Yeah.
And they're
The
gonna
aliens
pop
are up
their
there. The aliens are up
Before-
there in their spaceship. Like, is it time? Is it time to like put these fools out of their misery, or what's
Yeah.
like, or should we let them go
1,000,000%.
on a little longer? And they're having like great debates about this. You know,
My final thought, because we're about to close.
yeah.
Think about the book and the movie written by Stephen King, The Mist. Like how like everything was like they were fighting, like this mist came out of nowhere, it covered
Right.
everything. And at the very end of the movie, like the dude shot his own people, like he shot his own people, and then the mist was gone. Like we are so like
We're in the midst
it's
of things, is what you're saying.
yes. Yes. Like don't shoot your own. Because I feel like something's gonna lift. Like it's gonna lift, right?
Yeah.
I think it's part of the human condition that there's a darkness in us, and most of us will try really, like the vast majority of us will be just trying all the time to not admit that there's a darkness within us through
Yeah.
distractions, through whatever,
Yeah.
just like, um, and that's part of the human condition is that we know this, but we're running from it at the same time.
Yeah.
And we just make individuals or groups just make terribly flawed decisions all the time.
Right.
Imperfect decisions all the time. And just because that's
It's
it.
how we are. It's what we do.
And I'm like, and I think it's like, you just got to accept that. To me, like you're not going to like, there's no secret formula. There's no chemical. There's no Pfizer drug. There's no book that could be written. There's no movie that could be made
No
Right.
injection.
that unifies humans. Like there's no.
Yeah.
We will always find a way, even brothers and sisters, like we will always find a way to differentiate ourselves from the other and to set ourselves apart from the other.
Definitely.
And it's like, that's not right or wrong. It's like, it is what it is. And it's like, you gotta kind of have to understand it and then learn how to live with it, or just do your best. I don't know.
Is that I think that's the end answer. Like everyone's gonna do it different. So does your way matter one way or another? Like everyone's gonna take a different path. Everyone's gonna feel and see this differently. People are gonna be on one side saying like calling people names and I can't be your friend anymore because of this, and people are going to be on the other way like I am only thinking about like if your life, one thing I know about life, like when the bottom falls out of your personal life, you're not fucking thinking about Donald Trump, you're not thinking about these things. Like that is a luxury to be able to be
I
like,
hope not. I do think
right?
there's a few people out there that when their life goes horribly wrong, they're thinking a lot about Donald Trump.
It's like he's responsible for all
Because they're
this,
looking to
damn
like
it.
blame. They're looking to blame it on something. They're looking for
Yeah,
like a
maybe.
target, to take their frustration
Maybe.
out on. But
I feel
but
like
no,
that's a
to
luxury
your
though.
point, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think about, like we got a new dog tonight, and my son was like, one of the kids was like, does she know? Like, what does she know? Does she know that she's a girl? Like, when does the girl dog realize she's a girl dog? And I was like, man, I don't think dogs have that kind of those types of thoughts.
Self-awareness.
Does
Yeah.
she know she's a girl? Who? One of your girls asked that?
I think my son asked that.
Because your other dog's
It was
a girl.
it was just a very meta question. Like, when does a dog realize it's a girl or it's a boy? because that's a human experience, you know,
Hmm.
like when you learn boy girl. But I was like, I don't think dogs ever even contemplate that. They're just like, what is.
Exactly.
I am
We
is.
we put
You know, like
our dog down at home, the our dog that died, Lily, last year. And we asked the vet that came, like, what about the other animals? Like, and she was like, they don't care. Like they don't have that. Like they might, you know,
they're just like that
look,
happened. That
yeah,
one's gone. That was gone.
it's not even a
They're
thing.
like
Like
Hakuna Matata, Hakuna Matata.
that she's like, that's you're putting a human experience into an animal and that's not their experience. Like,
Doesn't go that way.
yeah, they're they're gonna be fine. They'll be fine with it.
Yeah, like I don't think they're not sitting around like, oh, when am I going to die? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah,
like,
no.
what's that
It's
smell?
not.
What's my food?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
smells? What's that stinks? Something stinks. Something smells. I
They're
go
not
find what
thinking about if
smells.
I'm a girl or a boy. They just are. And they're not thinking about I'm a dead or alive. It just is. Like, no, that dog isn't here anymore. It's just
So I try to
gone.
like think about like what gives me peace is and sleep at night is like I think about humanity the same way. It is what it is. It just
Yeah,
is. Like
it is.
there's like beautiful things and horrible things and just a combination. Everybody's got that in them. Like
Yeah,
everyone has that in them
sure.
to be terrible or to be, beautiful and do something amazing or do something, really shitty.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, man, I'm getting tired of all this philosophy stuff.
Go enjoy your puppy. I'm gonna
Yeah, I'm gonna
enjoy
find that
mine
sucker, see if
too.
she's sleeping or what. I
Yeah.
swear,
I hope they
I'm
curl up like mine. I hope they love each other like mine do. Like mine love each other so much.
I'm just hoping
It's
to get through
so
the night without
sweet.
cleaning up any shit. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Like
I hope
I'm
you're
just trying. Like if I wake up tomorrow morning and I haven't cleaned up the diarrhea or something in a cage, like that's a win. These dogs could be mortal enemies. You know, if I'm not like putting Vicks vapor
Yeah.
over my nose to try to cover up the smell as I like get down on my knees and
I feel so lucky. Yeah. I'm sorry. Godspeed. I hope it works
yeah,
out for you. Happy
I'm
Friday,
sure
you
it will.
guys.
Happy
Happy
Friday. Get it
Friday.
on. Do what you want. Thanks for hanging in for so long, listeners,
Thank
podcast
you,
listeners.
YouTube. Thank you, everybody, for subscribing, supporting, listening. Means a lot.
Yeah, get it on. Good to see you, Manny.
Good to see you too, brother.
We have to
Happy
talk about your
200.
band.
I will. We'll
Yeah,
we'll
happy
talk about it next
200.
time.
Yeah.
Happy 200.
Here's to the next 200, baby.